Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our session today. I hope everyone are well. Today we gather here to present our findings on the effectiveness of classroom-based assessment and school-based assessment. So these two methods are indeed crucial in evaluating student learning. Each serve different purpose and implement in unique way. So let me brief a bit about CBA and SBA. Sorry. So, both classroom-based assessment, CBA, and school-based assessment focus on holistic student development. CBA and SBA are two important ways to assess student learning. So, CBA happens regularly in the classroom as part of daily lesson, allowing teachers to give ongoing feedback and support to help students improve. It is a continuous process that tracks student progress over time. On the other hand, SBA is a larger assessment that typically happens at the end of a term or year. It looks at the overall learning students have achieved and summarize their performance, helping to determine their final grades or progress. And for this assignment, our group have interviewed one secondary teacher. So, uh, her name is Miss Pang Fushi. She's an English teacher teaching at SMK Jambatan Putih. Her career background is at SMK Sandakan 2 from 2011 to 2013 and SMK Jambatan Putih currently. So her education background is Bachelor in Education at University of Science Malaysia from 2006 until 2010. So next, we will discuss first about the differences between CBA and SBA in terms of the implementation, purpose, and impact on education. Our presentation will highlight how teachers use these methods, the tools and techniques involved, and their influence on students' academic performance and educators' teaching strategies. So to support our finding, we conduct research and interviewed Ms. Pangfushi. Her insights combined with our research provide a practical perspective on the effectiveness of CBA and SBA. Okay, so first for the key differences, CBA in terms of implementation, in the classroom, teacher use informal methods like quizzes, assignments, project, or simply observing students as they work. These activities happen naturally during lesson and allow teachers to check student understanding and progress over time. CBA, and in terms of its purpose, the purpose of CBA is to give teachers real-time feedback about how students are doing. This helps them quickly adjust their teaching strategies and provide extra support when needed so students can keep improving. So in terms of SBA implementation, SBA involve more formal assessment like standardized tests or exams, which are organized across the whole school. This assessment often cover multiple classes or grade levels and are designed to measure student learning in a more structured ways. So the goal of SBA is to average student performance over a longer period, like a term or a year. It's used to help with grading and making important academic decisions, such as determining how well students have mastered the material. And based on the, findings from our interview session with Ms. Pang, Ms. Pang explained that CBA tracks student ongoing learning progress on a daily basis with regular feedback from teachers. So CBA use a grading scale from Band 1 to Band 6. In contrast, SBA averages student overall development, including cognitive, emotional, and social skills over a longer period. SBA is typically conducted at specific times like the end of a term or year and uses traditional grades like A+, A. So CBA is a continuous, while CBA is more periodic. So Ms. Pang explanation supports the analysis by clearly outlining the differences between CBA and SBA in terms of both purpose and implementation. So the connection, both the analysis and Ms. Pang agreed that CBA is continuous, classroom-specific, and formative. It focused on tracking progress over time with real-time feedback and adaptable teaching methods to support student growth. SBA is a more formal, periodic, and summative. It evaluates overall performance at set intervals, such as the end of term, and helps in final grading and decision making. So Ms. Pang also adds more depth by explaining the grading system for board assessment and highlighting how SBA also looks at broader aspects of students' development. Together, the analysis and Ms. Pang explanation provide a complete picture of the differences between CBA and SBA. So next, based on our research, a teacher can integrate classroom-based assessment into lesson using various formative techniques like quizzes, peer assessment, group activities. So this method provide real-time data on student progress, allowing for adjustment in teaching and target support. So the key strategies include like lesson planning, varied methods, active learning, and continuous monitoring. Unlike the most standardized SBS, CBA is more flexible and adapting to students' need and providing ongoing personal feedback. And based on our findings from our interview session, Ms. Pang explained that for CBA, teachers gather regular feedback from students to identify gaps and adjust teaching strategies accordingly. So CBA requires using different approaches to cater to each student needs. In contrast, SBA is a long-term summative evaluation that summarizes student learning over a longer period. Like at the end of the year, without the ongoing individual feedback seen in CBA. So both the research answer and Ms. Pang answer explain how teachers use CBA strategies in daily teaching while highlighting the differences from SPA. So both answers agree that CBA use formative techniques like feedback, varied methods, and continuous monitoring to adapt to students' need and support real-time learning. So meanwhile, SBA is a summative, standardized, and focused on assessing overall progress over a longer period. So our research provide a more detailed overview of CBA techniques, while Ms. Pang share practical example how she applies these strategies in her classroom. So together, this answer, they show how teachers can balance CBA flexibilities with the more structured outcome focused approach of SBA. That's all. Thank you. I would pass my the next to my next team member, Noraini.
Thank you, Aida. Hello, everyone. My name is Nuraini binti Raja. So the examples of tools and techniques in classroom-based assessment versus school-based assessment, we can see here the classroom-based assessment prioritized standardized summative assessment, which aim at measuring mastery of specific curriculum goals, while the school-based assessment adopts a flexible, formative, and holistic approach that integrate assessment with teaching and learning process. So the tools that used in classroom-based assessment are multiply choice tests, for example, where it measures knowledge with predetermined answers, and the unit test, where the summative evaluations at the end of a chapter, focusing on comprehension of key concepts of students. And while the school-based assessment tools we can see here, for example, is the project-based task, where the students design a model or solution to an environmental problem, and they can demonstrate application of concept. Next will be rubric assess group presentation, where the lecturer or teacher will assess teamwork, research, and presentation skills with clear criteria for evaluations. The findings from the interview session with Ms. Pang Fuishi I asked her the question, which is can you provide examples of tools or techniques commonly used in classroom-based assessment and explain how they compare to those used in school-based assessment? So based on Miss Pang Fushi answer, she said that the classroom-based assessment techniques and tools, uh, there are types of techniques, which is oral, assessing students through spoken activities. The next will be observation, monitoring students' behavior and response during lessons, and written, which is using quizzes, short tests, or unit-based assessments. The examples for these types of technique will be unit-based tests, where the following textbook content, such as true, false questions in English, reading tasks, ensuring students complete exercise for each unit. The next will be observation during teaching, and where teacher evaluating and assessing how students respond to feedback and classroom activities. So from as we can see, the summary from this, her answer, the classroom-based assessment focus on structure, textbook-based assessment like quizzes and tests that align with specific units of study. The next one will be school-based assessment, techniques and tools, where these focus on emphasize more complex skills like vocabulary, usage, grammar, punctuation, and effective reading. For the example, we can see for the writing task, the teacher will evaluating student on grammar, punctuation, and vocabulary through more practical skill-oriented tasks based on performance, where the less rigidly tied to textbook units with an emphasis on improving specific academic skills. So from her answer, we can summarize that school-based assessment is more skill-based, which often involve tasks that assess higher order thinking, language mastery, and the ability to perform in authentic contexts. So for the comparison that we can analyze from her answer is classroom-based assessment is the more structured textbook-based that focus on short-term mastery of unit content. Then this uh, this school-based classroom-based assessment tools are like quizzes, tests, and observation that measures the students' understanding of predefined curriculum topic. For the school-based assessment, this one is covering the holistic, skill-oriented, and designed to integrate into real-life context that focus on practical applications of learning, such as improving writing through vocabulary and grammar mastery. So in short, classroom-based assessment measure what students know at a specific point, while school-based assessment evaluate how students' knowledge over time. Connections between research answer and interview finding with Ms. Pangfushi, we can see that both the research answer and Ms. Pangfushi answers provide examples of tools and techniques used in classroom-based assessment and school-based assessment. And we compare their proposed and approaches. The classroom-based assessment use tools like quizzes, observation, and daily tasks to provide continuous proactive feedback that helps guide learning and improve teaching strategies. While the school-based assessment focus on standardized summative assessment like exams and structured tasks to measure overall mastery of skills and knowledge. So Miss Bang practical example align with the research detail categorizations showing how both assessment serve distinct yet complementary roles in education. So we can see the classroom-based assessment and school-based assessment role in understanding student learning. We can see that classroom-based assessment measure how well students have mastered specific curriculum content using standardized tools like tests and quizzes. But the limitation for these are only focused on result at a specific time. So it doesn't show how students learn or apply skills over time. For the school-based assessment, the stream is provide a teacher a fuller picture of students' learning by using ongoing methods like projects, portfolios, and peer assessment. This tracks both progress and how students apply knowledge in real world context. So why deeper understanding the based assessment emphasize the process of learning. This often this offer real-time feedback and help students reflect and grow. The findings from interview session, the question is, in your experience, how does classroom-based assessment foster a deeper understanding of students' learning compared to school-based assessment? And Ms. Pang's answer that she emphasized classroom-based assessment helps students improve their understanding through regular feedback and peer assessment. She also explained that feedback in every lesson where classroom-based assessment provide consistent feedback after each lesson of or unit, allowing students to identify areas where they are weak and focus on improving their understanding of specific topics. The next one, she emphasizes the peer assessment, where in classroom-based assessment, classmates can assess each uh, s- each other's work, which helps the students identify their own weaknesses through the videos. This process encourage improvement in targeted areas. So we can summarize that. Ms. Pang conveys see classroom-based assessment foster a deeper understanding by providing frequent, focused feedback and using peer assessment to help students recognize and address their weakness on specific topics. The connection between the research answer and interview findings, we can see that both answers emphasize that classroom-based assessment measure learning incrementally and provides feedback for immediate improvement. We also can see that while the research highlights the limitation of a static measurement, Ms. Bank adds that peer assessment helps students actively identify areas for improvement and foster learning at smaller, manageable levels. The research provide a balanced comparison by showcasing the school-based assessment ability to provide a more holistic and process-focused understanding of the student progress of learning. So together, they suggest that classroom-based assessment supports real-time feedback and incremental growth, while school-based assessment capture the broader development of skills and knowledge of the student.
Thank you, Nurani. Good day, everyone. My name is Tanyashini, and today I will be discussing the impact of CBA. So the first one is academic performance. CBA helps students learn at their own speed. It focuses on understanding and mastering skills, allowing students to improve step by step. This reduces stress and improve learning. And second one is motivation. CBA motivates students by focusing on personal progress. It builds confidence and give a sense of achievement, encouraging students to keep improving. And the impact of SBA. The first one is academic performance. SBA use fixed timelines and standard tests. Some students succeed in this system, but others may only study to pass, not to very understand. And second one is motivation. SBA can lower motivation because of frequent comparisons with others. Where some students are driven by competition, others feel stressed and discouraged. So, interview finding. For interview, we found that CBA focused on daily improvement with personalized feedback. This approach motivates students to grow. And SBA emphasizes standardized tests, which can cause stress but motivates some students through competition. So connection between research answer and interview finding. So CBA and SBA impact student academic performance and motivate in complementary ways, as highlighted in both research and Ms. Pang responses. So CBA emphasizes continuous formative assessment that allows students to identify their weakness, look at their own space, and receive ongoing feedback. And Ms. Pang also notes that CBA helps students focus on daily progress and understanding and reducing stress. On other hand, SBA focus on summative assessment that emphasize grades and future outcomes. While each approach can motivate students to work harder, it may also increase stress and limit creativity, as mentioned in both the research and Ms. Pang response together. Is perspective show that CBA support individual growth, while SBA provide a benchmark for overall achievement, balancing the learning experience. So feedback in CBA versus SBA. CBA give a clear and detailed feedback to help students improve. It supports their learning and boosts confidence. And SBA feedback is focused on grades without much explanation. This can leave students feeling frustrated and unmotivated. Either you can go to next slide. So finding from the interview session, students respond differently to feedback. In CBA, students tend to be more reflective and motivated to improve because they receive consistent teacher guidance and support from classmates with higher proficiency level. An impact of learning outcome, CBA helps students identify both their strengths and weakness, promoting self-awareness and motivating to their work on areas for improvement. And key message is Ms. Pang agree that students do respond differently to feedback from CBA versus SBA. So she also emphasized that CBA foster better engagement, reflection, and process improvement compared to SBA, which lends to focus more on final result and grades. This difference positively impacts students' learning outcome by encouraging self-awareness and active participation. So, connection between research answer and interview finding. CBA and SBA feedback influence students in distinct ways. Research shows that CBA provides formative, personalized feedback that encourages reflection, self-improvement, and active engagement. So Ms. Fang similarly highlight that CBA motivates students to identify and address weakness with teacher and peer support, promoting continuous learning. So SBA feedback, as research note, in summative and focus on grades, often lacking actionable guidance, which can discourage struggling students. Ms. Park add that SBA emphasize final outcome, imitating focus on process improvement. Together, this perspective show how CBA supports skills building and motivation, where SBA prioritize result and affecting students differently. So next I will pass to Samodeshwari.
Okay, thank you, Miss Dania. So my part will be the formative assessment and the summative assessment. Formative assessment is focusing on going process oriented and aimed at improving learning in the real time. Impacts help students identify their strength and weakness, encourage continuous engagement and self reflection, build foundational skills by addressing learning gaps. And summative assessment focus on outcome oriented and designed to evaluate cumulative knowledge and skills as the end of a learning period. Impacts provides a measure of overall achievement and readiness, motivates students to perform at their best during key evaluation, establish accountability for both students and teachers. Balancing CBA and SBA. The balanced approach between CBA and SBA ensures students grow steadily, master necessary skills, and achieve well-rounded success by blending the strength of formative and summative evaluation method. There are three. First, fostering growth. CBA focus on the process, ensuring students improve continuously. SBA validates the result, offering a clear benchmark for achievement. Second, improving long-term success. A strong balance ensures students are not only well prepared for summative tasks but also inquired with problem solving and critical thinking skills from formative practices. Third, reducing stress. Integrating formative practices reduce the pressure associated with high stakes summative assessment. Finding from the interview session, the question is how does the balance between formative CBA and summative SBA assessment shapes overall students' achievement? The answer from Ms. Pang is conveys the following points about the balance between formative and summative assessment. CBA as continuous report support ongoing learning and improve throughout the year by helping students enhance the skills and understanding by step. It, it plays the role helping students. SBA as the final measure described as the end goal and the final outcome. Next. Okay. Finding from the interview session, integration of both. CBA contribute to long-term process while SBA provides a way to measure cumulative performance, showing how well students have achieved their learning objective by the end of the assessment period. Key message, the answer emphasizes that CBA supports continuously learning and improvement, preparing students to perform better SBA, which serves as the final measure of the overall achievement. Connection between research answer and the interview. Both Mix Pang's answer and analyze agree CBA and SBA work together. As continuously progress and skill building throughout the learning process, while SBA validates the progress.
Sorry, Narayani, your mic is on. Narayani.
Okay, let me continue. SBA validates the progress by assessing overall performance and outcomes at the end. This balance is essential for shaping well-rounded student achievement. Challenges implementing CBA. Time constraint. CBA requires continued assessment, feedback, and monitoring, which can be time consuming, especially with large class sizes. Teachers may struggle to allocate sufficient time for meaningful feedback and remediation. Subjective in assessment. Observational and oral assessment in CBA can introduce subjectivity, leading to inconsistent evaluation across students. Lack of resources. Teachers may not have adequate tools or training to design effective CBA activities and integrate them seamless into daily lessons. Challenges implementing SBA. Pressure to focus on grade. The emphasis on final grades can lead to the teaching to the test which teacher prioritize exam preparation over deep learning. Limited opportunities for feedback. Since SBA is summative, it often provides limited opportunities for students to reflect in improvement. Overemphasize on outcome. SBA can create a competitive, high-stakes environment that increase stress for both teachers and students. Impact on the learning outcome. We have three: reduced engagement. If teachers struggles to balance the CBA and SBA, students may become disengaged either from lack of consistent feedback. Inconsistent learning. Implicit formative assessment can leave gaps in students' understanding. Teacher burnout. The dual demand of implementing of both CBA and SBA effectively can overwhelm teacher, affecting their ability to create a positive and supportive learning environment. Okay, finding from the interview session, the question was, what are the challenges teachers face in implementing CBA and SBA, and how does these challenges affect the learning environment? Challenges implementing CBA: time-consuming nature and need for training. So, time-consuming nature, teacher need to design variety teaching strategies and create different worksheets to address the diverse levels of and ability for the student. Need for training, teachers require specialized training to assess students. Challenges implementing SBA: pressure to meet deadline. Teachers face stress due to the tight deadline for grading and marking. Focus on examination results. The emphasis of standardized formats and results limit creativity in teaching. Overloaded curriculum. Shortened academic terms, especially after distributing the disruption like MCO. For the summary, impact on the learning environment. CBA, the time-consuming nature of CBA may affect teaching quality. SBA, the pressure to meet gradings, deadline, and focus on the result can lead a rigid teaching approach. Key message: Ms. Pang conveys that implementing CBA and SBA present challenges like time constraint, training requirement, grading pressure, and overloaded schedule. Connection between research answer and interview finding. Ms. Pang answers that analyze align the in showing that the challenges of CBA time training fairness and SBA grading pressure, rigid focus, overloaded curriculum significantly impact the learning environment by limiting teaching quality, creativity, and opportunity for meaningful learning. Both highlights the need to address these challenges to improve the overall student experience.
Next, CBA and SBA influence in lesson planning. CBA personalized strategy. Teacher design differentiated lesson plans to accommodate the varying abilities and needs of students. Secondly, we have the activities that are planned to be interactive, focusing on skill building and formative learning. For the flexibility in context, Teachers have the flexibility to adapt lesson plans based on students' real-time progress and feedback. They may also incorporate diverse tools like peer assessments, group discussions, and also reflective exercises. And for SBA, we have standardized focus. Like lesson plans are often structured around the syllabus and exam formats to align with the standardized testing requirements. Next, we have the emphasis in is placed on preparing students for specific tasks like writing essays or solving structured questions. And time restricted preparation. Teachers plan lessons within tight schedules, prioritizing the content coverage to meet curriculum deadlines. Next, we have the CBA and SBA influence in measuring progress. For CBA, for the ongoing monitoring, progress is tracked continuously through small, frequent assessments such as quizzes, observation, or oral presentations. And for the focus on skill development, teachers evaluate both cognitive knowledge based and non cognitive, which is behavioral or participatory skills over time. And for SPA, end of term evaluation, progress is assessed primarily at the end of term or unit through formal tests and exams. And for the or outcome oriented metrics, the focus is on achieving measurable results such as grades or overall performance rather than the learning process. Next will be the findings from the interview session. Question was, how do CBA and SBA influence the way teachers plan their lessons and measure progress over time? CBA influence on lesson plan. The first one will be teachers start by referring to the learning standards and scheme of work to set clear objectives for their students. Second, we have lessons are developed with focus on ensuring students can achieve these objectives. And the third one will be feedbacks plays a crucial role. This feedback helps inform future lessons, allowing teachers to adjust their teaching methods and content to meet students' needs. CBA influence on measuring progress. Progress is assessed continuously by identifying students' weakness and areas where they need improvement. The aim is to support students in mastering the skills and content over time. However, for SBA, influence on the lesson plan. Ms. Pang notes that SBA is exam oriented, which shapes lessons to focus on preparing students for standardized exam. However, the connection to SBA, teachers use insights gained from CBA to identify students' weakness and help them perform better in SBA. The interview key message. Ms. Pang highlights the CBA influences lesson planning by focusing on learning objective, students' feedback, and continuous progress tracking, which allows for adjustment in teaching. Meanwhile, SBA emphasizes exam preparation by insights from CBA guide teachers in addressing students' weakness to improve their overall performance. The integration of CBA into lesson planning supports long-term learning and better outcomes in SBA. The connection between research and interview findings. Ms. Pang answer and the analysis agree that CBA drives personalized based lesson planning and ongoing progress tracking, while SBA focuses on standardized outcome. Together, they show how teachers use insight from CBA to improve both lesson planning and students' performance in SBA, creating a balance between continuous learning and final evaluation. For professional development and training needed for educators to apply in CBA, training in differentiated instruction, Teachers need skills to design lessons and assessment that cater to diverse students' abilities, and strategies like scaffolding, flexible grouping, and individualized feedback are essential. However, formative assessment techniques is in training in using tools such as exit card, peer assessment, reflective journals, and real-time observation to monitor the students' progress. And for the data analysis skills, educators should learn to analyze data from continuous assessment to identify learning gaps and tailor their teaching strategies. For the behavioral and soft skills, training on how to evaluate non-academic skills like participation and collaboration to provide a holistic understanding of students' progress. Furthermore, for professional development and training needed for educators to apply SBA. Standardized testing and grading, training on developing and grading standardized assessment to ensure fairness and alignment with curriculum standards. Furthermore, we have the time management for grading. Techniques to efficiently manage grading workloads and meet deadlines. And for the exam preparation techniques, skills to teach students effective strategies for handling standardized exam, including management, question analysis, and stress reduction. And alignment with curriculum standard. Training to ensure summative assessments accurately reflect learning standards and objectives. Professional development and training needed for educators to balance CBA and SBA. Integrating CBA and SBA, training on how to use insights from CBA to inform SBA preparation, creating a seamless connection between ongoing learning and final evaluation. And additionally, collaboration and peer learning workshop that promotes sharing best practices and learning from peers about balancing CBA and SBA in diverse classroom contexts. Technology integration, learning to use tools like online quizzes, learning management systems, and analytics platform to track progress and streamline assessments. And the fourth one will be stress workload management, guidance on managing the pressures of grading, planning, and balancing the dual demands of CBA and SBA. Findings from the interview question what professional development or training is needed for educators to effectively apply both CBA and SBA in the classroom. First, proposed professional training item building. The first one will be teacher need training in item building, which refers to creating questions or tasks that are tailored to assess students' various skills. The second one would be this involves learning how to design effective assessment that caters to the diverse ability of students in the classroom. Thirdly, it ensures that assessments align with learning objectives and support both formative CBA and summative SBA approaches. And why it does it matter? Effective item building allows teachers to measure not only knowledge but also critical thinking, problem solving, and also other skills like helping them address the unique needs of their students. Findings from the interview question what professional development or training is needed for educators to effectively apply both CBA and SBA in the classroom. Second, proposed professional training is for data analysis, and the first one will be teachers need training in analyzing assessment data to evaluate students' performance. And secondly, will be this Analysis enables teachers to identify learning gaps and use this insight to improve their teaching strategies. Third, why it matters. Data analysis helps teachers make informed decisions by lesson planning and instructional adjustment, ensuring they meet the needs of all learners and improve outcomes over time. Connection between research and interview findings. Ms. Fang's answer and the analysis align in emphasizing two essential areas of professional development for effectively applying CBA and SBA: item building and data analysis. Ms. Fang highlights the importance of professional development in item building and data analysis as foundational skills for applying both CBA and SBA effectively. The analysis supports her point, adding depth by explaining how these skills improve the alignment of assessment, address the diverse students' need, and enhances the teaching strategies for better learning outcomes. Together, her answer and the analysis emphasize that these areas are essential for fostering a balanced and effective assessment approach in the classroom.
Okay, thank you, Salima, and thank you, everyone. So, in conclusion, CBA classroom-based assessment provides continuous feedback to support ongoing learning, while SBA school-based assessment evaluates overall achievement at specific points. So, by balancing these assessments, allows students to improve while being accountable for their progress, and professional development equips teachers to effectively use both approaches for comprehensive student evaluation. So, that is all from our group. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Yeah, that's all. Bye. Goodbye, everyone.